It is not a matter of trust. It is just coming back and seeing that there is no me to trust. You see that the me is only an accumulation of ideas in the mind, an image based on your past and your conditioning. That pure I am thought is one move away from reality. And because that is pretty hard to grasp on its own, it has added all these other images and ideas and words to it. This has created an image which seems very real and solid because it has been gone over day after day, week after week. From the time we were 2 years old, it has never been questioned. And that is the only problem. Once it is looked at, the faults cannot stand up to investigation. That I, that me, that thought can't see. It can't be aware. It can't breathe you. It can't beat your heart. It relies on that pure functioning for the thinking itself. Yet, it has come to believe that it has the power. Without thought, do you ever stop being? You know immediately. It is a tram before it comes into your mind as thought. That is pure intelligence, registering everything as it is. A split second later, you say, "That is a tram," or "Someone coughed," or "Someone moved." At that point, you have stepped off the razor's edge. Prior to that is the pure registering of everything just as it is. The pure intelligence of itself does not change. It does not move. It is just like a mirror. It reflects everything, just as it is. The difference with the analogy of the mirror is that the mirror has to have stuff outside of it, like the sun. That pure intelligence shines of itself. All this vibration, this movement of energy is registered just as it is. The mind comes in with discrimination. It has preferences, partiality, or compromise. It is the nature of the mind to divide. It is the nature of this manifestation to be in the pairs of opposites. Could there be silence without sound? Could there be stillness without movement? What can you compare them to without the opposites? Looking at it from this perspective, there is no big, bad ogre in all these pairs of opposites. They are understood for what they are. So, your direct experience is right here, right now, presently. It is always direct experiencing, full stop. The mind is starting to move away from it with, what if such and such isn't it? Hearing, seeing, feeling, living, breathing, immediate. It is immediate. You will notice that. That is always first and foremost. It is only the habit of the mind to latch on and seemingly take you away from it. But when is that happening? Isn't it presently? You can only be thinking presently. If you are thinking about the past, you must be thinking about it presently. Thinking about the future, you must be thinking about it presently. You have never moved away from it. It is only seemingly so that you do. A little bit of alert awareness. Seeing what is actually happening. Then you are going to be bound by it? No, because you have seen the falseness of it. It is not going to stop you going into the past or the future. But you understand it. You have seen through the illusion. You see. You understand that the sky is not blue. Sky is only space. And when you get up in a plane at 30,000 feet with space all around you, it is clear and empty. The blue is always further out. We have believed it to be blue. But when you understand that it is not blue, you will still see it as the same blueness. But you know full well the truth about it. That is another thing that Christ said. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. That you are not that separate entity. Now, it experiences and expresses itself through all the diversity. A dog has the characteristics of a dog. A cat has the characteristics of a cat. So-called human beings have characteristics with the functioning of a human being, with their mind and body, etc. But knowing full well that you are not that, it is not going to make any difference to the functioning. It is still going to happen. As the Zen texts say, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Before it is a chore that is happening to me that might like it or might not. Afterwards, it is just part of the functioning, part of the happening. It is happening right now. You're hearing, you're seeing. The functioning is going on as pure experience right now. The trouble arises because you are looking for something to grasp with the mind and say, this is it. You see, you are looking for an experience in the mind to say, that's it. And then all you do is tuck that away in your memory and go along on your merry way, looking for something else. When they say in the Gita, the fire can't burn it, the water can't drown it, the wind can't dry it, the sword can't cut it. What does that mean? Why can't the sword cut it? Because it contains all of those things. including the sword. Now, you will never find the answer in the mind. It contains the mind. The mind can never contain it. As we pointed out earlier, before the thought, I am, comes on to you, are you aware? When is it happening? Just ask yourself that question. When is all this happening? The obvious answer is that it can only be happening presently. So, is it anything other than presence? The happening itself is movements of energy. Thoughts are subtle sound of energy, and energy is just vibration. So it is that omnipotence, that all power. It is omnipresence. It is all presence. And the knowing of that, the awareness of it, knowing that I am, the pure knowing, is the all-knowing, the omniscience. It does not mean to know this or that. It is just pure knowing. Pure knowing is the totality of knowing. Are you not that right now? Aware of being present? In the Hindu terminology, it is Sat Chit Ananda, or being, awareness, loving. You are aware of being present, and you love to be. Full stop. You are aware of being present. Anything else is still happening presently. Just the focus needs to move back a little bit and see. Instead of focusing on what we have been used to focusing on in our head, just pause for a minute and see the difference between that pure intelligence, the registering of everything, and thinking about it. Realize that you're hearing those cars go by while you're listening to me. Probably with your full attention. You are still hearing and seeing other things, and it is still being registered. Try listening in here in here. The first seeing is formless. In this formlessness, there are still forms appearing out there. The first hearing is silence. But there is still hearing out there. You are that formless, silent, pure being. It is very subtle. Stay with it. To the mind, this is very boring. I can't live in silence and stillness. Well, keep watching it and ask yourself, who is this me that is giving it value? Until it comes up that you see that this me is only an idea. Where is the center? Where does this so-called me start? Look and try to find a center or a spot in your body which you believe is me, or in your mind which you believe is me. Look as hard as you like. If you can't find it, you come and tell me. I know for certain that there is no particular place in this body or this mind of which I can say, this is where I belong. This is where it all starts. In your own looking, you will find that the faults cannot stand up to investigation. You are not the hand. You are not your ear. You are not your nose. There is no particular spot where you can say, this is where I began. Have a look at the body. It starts off as a single sperm and a single ovum, which were the essence of the food that your mother and father ate. Where is that cell? That would be the center. That would be the start of it all. But that cell has doubled and redoubled and is long gone. From another angle, am I this mind? The mind is just composed of thought. Which particular thought am I? Am I this I thought? But where is that I thought? If I'm deeply asleep or unconscious, it is not there. That would be the finish of me if I was that I thought. But the breathing is still happening. The functioning is still happening. There is no center. So when the chatter goes on, you see that there is no center to attribute it to. Then it must lose its hold. It becomes laughable. Full stop. Did you stop? Stop thinking, hearing the birds singing. Are you thinking about that as it's happening? It just is. The conditioning, as we have said it, is that the mind wants to know. The mind, in wanting to know, will penetrate itself. It will go down every direction it can find. So whichever direction you go in, you're still in the mind. There is only one way to get out of that. Full stop. In that instant of stopping, there is clarity. There is just what is. Just a second later, it starts up again. But if you see it in that instant, the instance will widen. In the registration of what is, just as it is, right here, right now, without any modification, alteration, or correction. That is what is. What could modify it, alter it, or correct it? Only the mind. Only a thought or feeling. If I ask you, what is wrong with right now, without thinking about it, what would you say? You have to pause for a moment and realize that if there is no thought there, there is nothing wrong. That is it. That is where it is. That may seemingly be only instantaneously at the moment. But if that sinks in often enough, that there is nothing wrong unless I'm thinking about it, then even if the thinking is going on, you know that you don't have to take any delivery of the thinking. That is the cause of all problems. In that split second, without that thinking, I still existed. I still was. Focus more on that. The mind is not the end-all be-all that we have believed it to be. Believing that we can't live without it or exist without it. We have placed too much importance on it. See that it is not so important. Though it is a wonderful creative instrument, it is not so important. The living is going on effortlessly right now. Go along those lines. Investigate yourself and see. It will hit you. That's right. It, the mind, is not so important. Then it starts to lose its hold. You will never be the same again. Whenever you get the chance throughout the day, question. Stop and see. What is wrong with right now if I don't think about it? Is the eye seeing? Is the eye aware? Or is the me seeing? Is the me aware? Or does the eye say, I see? And does the ear say, I hear? Realize that the functioning is happening effortlessly, without any me involved. It is only the thought, I, that comes up and says, I see. But the thought cannot see. So you see what an error the mind is telling you. In seeing that, you can never believe it again. If it tells you erroneous things in that respect, then it must have told you a lot of other erroneous things. The mind can tell you erroneous things because the reference point is a dead reference point. It is based on yesterday. Question it continually and see whether it is telling you correctly, or whether it is based on some past dead image. Do that for a little while, and you will see. Those beliefs won't be given any credence anymore. Yet, when the mind is utilized, It is a wonderfully creative instrument.